Welcome to the Simply Real Life podcast. I'm Sarah, the founder of Simply Real Health, here to help you simplify, amplify, and elevate your life. This show is for those of you who want the real talk on how to live a more intuitive and intentional life, a life that's healthy from the inside out, and one that feels more effortless, aligned, simple, and more alive. We cover it all, from health, wellness, mindset, motherhood, daily habits and rituals, to business and relationships, creativity and growth, and tiny tricks to feeling your best, and the energetics behind it all filled with personal stories, unfiltered conversations, and of course, answering all of your burning questions, all in the way of simplicity and keeping it real, so that you can create your own version of your healthiest life. Let's do it. Hi guys, welcome back to the show this week. I've got such an interesting question that made me pause for a second to try and think through if I could even answer this one. Sometimes you guys ask questions, I'm like, I don't know if I can physically explain it. It's just what I do or how I do it. But this one I'm going to do my best because I feel like it maybe could be helpful to tangibly break down something that I show a lot on Instagram or even here. The question that came in was, can you share a little bit more when you're always talking about little daily joys, what you mean by that? And she's almost walk us through your day of examples of that. She's I really want to live with this attitude and this mindset and perspective that you seem to have in your life, which is very grateful, very aware of the small moments. And she's I'm wanting to do that more in my life. Can you walk me through what that actually looks like and how you're navigating your day? So again, this gave me a little bit of a pause where I had to think through, could I explain what happens or what is going on in my brain in a normal day? And this is a day that, for those of you who are in my Insiders Club, and we talk so much about the realities and behind the scenes, it's been one of my favorite things about having a group like that. I don't share my whole life on social media. No, thank you. I think especially being a mom of 3 young kids now, I just feel more protective of that space. I think one of the best things about having a more intimate, close group is that I can share and I feel comfortable sharing more of the deeper details or the things that are more the funny stuff, the hard stuff, the weird things about the routine or the day or what my kids are doing. By no means I am this perfect person that always has this perfect mindset and, everything is hearts and rainbows and stars. Not at all. I think people who actually know me deeply in my real life know that I feel all kinds of things. I'm very much a feeler. I'm not ashamed of my emotions. I cry all the time. I feel deeply. I am an empath, so I also have to be careful that I'm not carrying other people's worries, thoughts, fears. I have to have a lot of practices around that. But I think for myself, it has been a learned practice of mindset and the perspective that I choose to see on things. And I think it has been a really long journey, especially so the last 10 years. There's been so much refinement for me in this area of feeling more present in my life and checking my mindset. And I feel like it is truly, I talked about this in a different episode, but mindset is 90% of it. 90% of having a happy life, a healthier feeling life, a more intentional life is how you're thinking about things. It's not the things that are happening to you or happening around you. It's how you're interpreting them and how you talk to yourself about them. And it's also being aware of all the talk tracks that are subconscious, that are playing, repeating tapes in your head, repeating thoughts from years before, decades before. It's just ingrained things that until we become aware that they're happening, aware of what those thoughts are saying, aware of how they control our lives or how we show up to our lives. And I feel like for me in the last 10 years, specifically so since becoming a mom 3 times over, there's nothing that impacts my day more than that awareness of my thoughts, of my emotions, of my body, and the connection between all 3 of those things. It's living in alignment and a little bit more purpose and in the present moment, feeling where you are the one that's in control of your experience. And there are so many things that we can do to shift our attention, to change our attention, to reroute it, to elevate it, to upgrade it, realizing that we are all wired with a more negative bias. And that our brains are wired protectively to always be on the lookout of what's wrong or what to be fearful about or what to be on the defensive. I mean, you think about how our brains were wired way back in the day, and that was true. Like we needed to be on the defensive all the time, looking for threats of our life, of our safety, of all these things. And like our brain is still wired that way, even though we don't have as many of those physical threats to our life or to our safety in normal daily life. There's still all those mental loops until you become aware of what those are. A lot of like self-awareness, a lot of mindset work, a lot of practices around uncovering what those things are. Then it becomes easier to catch and reroute those thoughts once you're aware of what your typical fallback, stories or thoughts might be. So when I talk about things like little daily joys, they're those moments of feeling deeply present and finding the things in normal daily life that really bring me joy and feeling those things to the fullest, and of feeling gratitude deeply in our lives in really small moments, because that's really what it's about. There's been so many studies around the concept of gratitude and how it changes brain waves. Like it changes the feeling in your body, it changes your nervous system, which then changes your thoughts, changes the stress response. Are you running on adrenaline, or are you actually more present and receiving things in your life? And there's so much to be said about the connection points between those two things of like you feeling and noticing, like slowing down your life enough to notice things around you to feel grateful for, to notice things around you that are fleeting. I think that that's one of the biggest gifts of having kids, is that they really do bring you a little bit more into the moment. They're so in the moment, and like their perspective on things or how they think about things or the things they're saying or doing, it's just such an immediate reminder to us as adults of, wow, what would it feel like to be more in the moment? And when you are in the moment, you just see things that you don't see before, when you're too busy, when you're rushing, when you're thinking about achievement or how much you're getting done that day versus being where you actually are. That's what I mean by slowing things down, by the little daily joys. It's you choosing to stop the running train, like even if it's just for 5 seconds, to take in what's happening around you. And I just find that for me, living in that way and purposefully choosing moments of slowing down or choosing moments to take in where I'm at really helps life feel so much happier and so much more delightful. And anytime I feel like I am in a funk, or I wake up in a weird mood, or I gotta shake the cobwebs off, I do that because I know that nothing impacts my day more than my mindset. And my mindset is something that I can have a say in. Like I can route how the tracks are going, but I need to get the train on the right track and not on the wrong track for that day. So that's where waking up in the morning and doing a quick walk where I'm outside in nature. Nature fully resets our system too, just like gratitude resets it. Just becoming more in the present moment really resets our brain in so many ways. So here's an example, like wake up, maybe in a funky mood. That happens a lot. I'm really affected by the weather and I live in Seattle. So I really do have to do a lot actively to like get the train on the right track in the morning, and aware that it's going to want to go on a different track, and that's okay. And that's normal. And then I just gently guide it the other way because it feels so much better to go the other way. So I get out, do my quick skincare, brush my teeth, do my hair, scalp care, and then out on a walk, even if it's for 5 minutes, because fresh air changes everything. You're just moving stagnant energy out. You're shaking off the cobwebs, just getting the day going. I listen to meditation, walking, and again, that helps me come back into the present moment. I'm looking at the trees, I'm looking at the grass, I'm looking at flowers, and taking in the sky. I'm breathing air into my body. I really need to be steeped in the feelings, the emotions, and then thinking through things. If you fill your day and your thoughts and your head with things that are more uplifting, with things that are more in the present, with things that are more about slowing down, it changes how your body feels. It changes how your adrenals fire. It changes the urgency of things. It changes so much about the experience. And so that's just one example. Doing a quick morning walk to get things moving for the day, then come back in and I feel refreshed. I started the day maybe in a lower mood, and I'm raising my vibration as I go by filling my mind, filling my body, filling my lungs with life-giving things. I come in, and see my kids and they're eating breakfast. And to me, I'm like, wow, like stop and take this in. This normal moment, look at them. Like they're so cute and they're so innocent. Wake up in their little bed head and they're just delighting in these blueberries on their plate and listening to a story. And even if it's crazy when I come back in and they're yelling at each other, whatever, it's like, this is fine. Like this season of life is so full. There's so much amazing energy. There's commotion and that feels good. So that's the part of the mindset where you could come in and there's yelling and screaming and you could be like, this is too much. I hate this. Or you can train your mind to look at that and be like, my house is so full and my life is so full. Some people take that as Pollyanna, as like, oh, you're just turning everything to a positive, but it's not that at all. Because I actually do feel and let myself feel however I want to feel, but then it's what I linger on. And then how do I want to take this? I could come in and be overstimulated. This is too much. Why all the yelling? What's going on? Let's regulate this. What's happening? And then what's my perspective going to be on it? How I'm going to choose to move forward. So that's what I mean by like little tiny daily moments. It's like you have the choice in that moment, what you're focusing on, what perspective you take, and what thought you want to let run the show. Hopefully I'm setting up their bodies and rhythms that you wake up in the morning and it's like, what a delight to be alive for another day. What a delight it is to see you. That I hope gets really rooted into their nervous systems where they wake up and it's like, hi, good morning. And my kids are not all like that. My son is not naturally like that. But over time, he shyly smiles like, good morning, mom, And I think there's something really beautiful about that. Then I have my chlorophyll water early in the morning. So now I'm making my matcha and I'm like, man, I love this. I love my morning matcha. It makes me feel good. I'm so glad I don't do coffee anymore. That made me feel crazy, but I couldn't give it up for a long time. Like I wanted to feel the sense of energy. I'm not a high energy person, like calm and steady. And that has its perks too, but I love the boost of matcha. There's no downsides. I just feel great after. It tastes good. I just look forward to it. I pour it in my favorite mug. I'm like, what a moment. I'm just going to take this moment, even if it's crazy around me. I'm just like, love that I get to have this experience every morning. I am going to delight in this, whether I'm walking my kids to school with it or have a moment, like sip it, really take it in. Again, slowing down all the voices in my head. They're like, you got to do this. Okay, this is next on the schedule. Okay, what time is it? Okay, I'm doing that externally, but internally, what I'm focusing on is the matcha, the beauty, the peace, the moment that I'm setting up for myself, that I'm intentionally choosing, I'm intentionally creating, intentionally crafting my life and my morning around. Love it. Walk my kids to school. I'm taking in the fresh air. What a delight. How lucky am I right now? I get to walk my kids to school. This is something I dreamed about. This was on my vision board years and years ago. And now it's happening. So sometimes it's about being aware of all the things that you once wished for, that you once were hoping would be something that you could have, or something that you did create or manifest or put your time and focus into, and now you have it. Like, how often do we forget of all the things that we have in our daily life that were once things we hoped for and wished for? And so when I look at my kids, that's what I see. How lucky am I that I have 3 healthy kids? And to the point where it does make me emotional. I'm like, isn't that crazy? Because this is my everyday life right now where I see them and it's messy and chaotic. My perspective on that is like, how beautiful. This is everything that I have wanted, and how good that feels in my body, in my soul, to have that appreciation for that gift that came true. That's what I'm thinking about as I am walking to school, or the feeling of my 3-year-old's hand in mine. I know how fast it goes, but it's those little moments of like, can I imprint this in my body, of how good it feels to hold her hand as we cross the street, or that she just wants to hold it as we sing a song and skip. And it's like, come back into that moment. I'm not thinking about what my brain wants to think about, which is, okay, how many minutes until the school bell rings? Okay, how many minutes till we get there? What's on my to-do list for work today? Can I train my mind to be in the moment more where I'm at? And I just think this has taken a lot of practice and a lot of intention. But that's what I mean with little daily joys. Like, you're filling your life with things that are so life-giving and grounding and peaceful feeling to you. You're creating those moments in your life, and then you are aware of all the moments where it's naturally happening, where you can go to a bird's eye view in your own life of how incredible this is. And if you don't feel that way about your life, then it's just a sign of maybe it's time to make some changes, to make some shifts, to learn about how to work on your mindset. Like, how do you even start that practice? And how many old stories or habits or things that you learned or picked up or beliefs from people around you when you were growing up, or your parents or caregivers, things that just get genetically imprinted on us. That's the way it has to go. Yeah, we have our wiring, but that doesn't mean that's how you have to go through your day. You can change that. Like, what do I want this to feel like? What do I want to be focused on? Not just the automatic way that we're wired or the way that our brains fire, but that we actually have a say in that, and that we can always slow down any moment that we want. We can always become more present. Even thinking through like your five senses. What do things smell like right now? What do things look like? What are the colors? What's the texture? Is there a feel? When you're always living in fight or flight, and always about achievement and constant to-dos and living in that energy all the time, you miss this whole other side to life. And I think this other side to life has so much to give. It's not flashy, though. It's not something that's even tangible. Like, even for me to talk about this or try to answer this question, it's so internal, of ways that I talk to myself or ways that I take what's happening and how I'm interpreting it to my inside world. There's so much about your inner world and your inner game. Like, there's nothing affects your life more than that. I mean, and food, of course, too. But those two things make such a difference in how your daily life feels. And if it's not feeling good, again, it's just information. It's just a sign. It's feedback of maybe there are some things that you're wanting to shift or wanting to change, or what would feel more in alignment for you. It could be that you are so far disconnected from yourself and what your body needs and what your heart needs, that like, it's time to start getting back to some of those things and give a little bit more love to some of those areas in your life, or just get curious. What is it that you would like there? What is it that would make it feel really good or really aligned to who you are right now? Not how you were a year ago or 5 years ago, but right now. I think there's a really beautiful way of living where you are constantly checking in with that and asking those questions. But that doesn't come unless you have moments where you are slowing things down enough to notice or realize those thoughts, or have ahas or moments of action or pause built into your life. Like, we need a little bit more margin in our life in order to connect to those deep desires that we have. So I hope that this is helpful, and I hope that I'm explaining this in a way of what actually goes on in my inner world. And when I'm showing moments of my matcha or my morning walk, I never share those things thinking that, oh, you need to do this too, or everybody should do this morning walk and this is how it'll feel. It's like, you have to pick the things that are going to feel good and be resetting to you, and starting to pay attention to what those things are, getting to know yourself better, not what anyone else is doing, but I share it to just give an idea or of that perspective change of, in this normal everyday moment, how could you find more presence, more peace, more joy, more being where you actually are? And how much that really shifts everything else around it. Like, truly, when you're living in that place, it's so much easier to be in a healthy place with your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, because you have these moments and this perspective built in of how do I actually want to form this? It's been such a gift in my own life. And it's why in the last year I have started the Insiders Club and started this more intimate, deeper group of women that are also wanting to live more intentional and healthier lives, where we talk about the real stuff, talk about the ups and downs and everything in between. And I think people are always kind of shocked in that group how much I do share and go into some of the more details of how chaotic it is to be a working mom sometimes, or, you know, how things are not always perfect, but what can you do about it? And I think it's just such a different way to live. And it's one that I'm so happy that I'm leaning more into and listening to that call on my own heart too. Like, this is what we need as women, to have these pockets of time and more intention built into our own lives. So if that's something you're interested in, I will put the link below in the show notes. I'm opening up the doors again this fall to welcome a few more people in. If you feel called, it's not for everybody, but it's absolutely one of the best investments you can do for your own mentality, for your mindset, for your nervous system, for your physical body. Like we talk about it all from a very intentional way, building and creating the life that you love and one that feels good from the inside out more than one that looks good, or more than based on what other people think of you, and more of like what's actually going to feel good to you and feel the most vibrant and alive. And that is truly my wish for all women in the world, to be able to tap into that a little bit more. So if you have any questions, as always, come over and find me at Simply Real Health on Instagram. Or you can send us an email to hello@simplyrealhealth.com. But just wanted to thank you for asking this question. You guys are amazing. The things that you think of and how deep you all are and interested and curious and like wanting to live better lives, that's what really inspires me. So thank you for being here and being part of this community. I am always amazed at each one of you. The energy in this community is unlike anything else I have ever experienced. And as I talk to friends who are creators and business owners and influencers and entrepreneurs, it's like I have the best people out there, hands down, like highest quality people in the world. So thank you for being here and being a part of this amazing community. I love you so much, and we'll see you back here next week.
If you enjoyed this episode and want more like it, make sure you're subscribed to the Simply Real Life podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and maybe share it with a friend or two. That would mean the world.